that's new. Did you hear
Continue.
that? It said
Yeah.
this meeting is being recorded. That's a new one.
Yeah. Gave me
Okay,
a
so
prompt.
cool. I am here with Jason Corbett from Actors, and you guys already know how much of a fangirl I am, and yeah, I am sweating. I am sweating right now because I admire this band so much. They've been one of my favorites since I got a tribute vision video to you guys. I part of my story is I love post punk, and I've been a post punk snob for a really long time, up
Right.
until like 2017. And I'm like, wait a minute, there's these new bands that sound just like the old 80s shit that I loved. Like,
Right.
I wasn't even listening to new music or giving it a chance. And, being an elder goth, we're not supposed to listen to the young goth stuff. But now I'm like, oh, fuck this. You guys are great. So thanks to Vision Video, they put out a playlist on Spotify, and I think it was called Post Punk Revival. And you guys were at the top, and I'm like, oh, they're good. They're so good. So thank you for just spending some time with me to talk about Actors. Like I said, I was coming out of early motherhood in 2012, and I was listening to a lot of dubstep because that's what my
Oh,
kids liked.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, dubstep, and I didn't say I liked it, but I dealt with it because my kids were young. I just wanted to make them happy. And a lot of
Sure.
preschool music. So about 2012, they were old enough, and I was like, I'd stay up really late watching horror movies because that's when I would watch them, and listening to old music videos. So in 2012, I wasn't even thinking about a modern day post-punk revival, as
Right.
Vision Video so called it, but that's when Actors was formed. So tell me a little bit about how that was for you in 2012, starting a post-punk band.
Um, it's funny you should bring up YouTube because I had a band that I was playing with for a few years. I've always been playing music, but up until about 2010, I was with a particular group that I was writing and, touring with a little bit. And we weren't really having much success. Um, and I was finding that I was gearing the music towards like maybe radio or what I thought being a successful band needed to do. And we had all these talks with different labels, and then everything just kind of ultimately kept falling through. And
Mm.
I just was like, I thought, well, I had to reassess what I was doing. And I worked in the restaurant industry.
Oh,
I was a restaurant manager, I was a server, and I really enjoyed that work. I liked working with people, I liked being around music and food, and so I would be home at night, like you said, late, and
mm-hmm.
I would go online and I would go down these YouTube, wormholes, and I'd be on Facebook. And when I was on Facebook, a lot of people from Europe were on Facebook because I'm in Vancouver. So me late at night, people are waking up in Germany or wherever. And then I just started like seeing like different bands pop up, and two bands that popped up that, okay, let me take one step back. So I broke that band up and I started just writing music for myself in my living room and
I love
recording it.
that.
And I was like, I don't care if this ever gets released. I don't care, blah, blah, blah. And I recorded Post Traumatic Love, PTL. And my friend said, you have to put this out. Like, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, the song's garbage. Like, it doesn't sound as good as I wanted it to sound. I'm glad. And I was like, oh, I'll put it up on Bandcamp. And then I just started like giving away our Bandcamp singles for free. Right. And I noticed around that time, once I started uploading, like I made like the PTL video for like $10, like with some food dye and stuff. And then I started
Mhm.
noticing like the Soft Moon and the
Yes.
KBB and certain bands that were like popping up. I said, oh, this is interesting. Like, I didn't even know what genre it was. I just felt like, oh, that's kind of in the wheelhouse of what I'm writing. I didn't know it was post-punk, quote unquote, and I didn't know we were going to get embraced by any type of subgenre, community around the world, which we have. And I was just releasing song after song, sometimes one song a year, sometimes two, and just playing a show here or there. And kind of it just naturally grew from that. And then Artifact Records contacted me, and I was like, no, I'm not interested. I don't, because you get these people who are like, they spam you online, and I didn't know
Hmm.
Artifact, And then we got on the phone, and I was like really stoked talking to Yasik, and I thought he was a really cool guy and understood where I was coming from. And then the gears started turning, and we put out that record in 2018, and the rest is history. Like that record, like it just every day I like open up Bandcamp and check it out, and I'm like, how is this record still selling? Like the
Oh,
band just keeps growing and growing and
right.
growing. It just hasn't stopped. So
It's beautiful. Like
to,
that's the best
to,
way I can put it. It's beautiful.
to
Like
see it happening, like I quit drinking when I was 40, and then like for me to like be touring around the world in my mid 40s and like seeing the enjoyment that I get from it and the fans get from it, it's changed my life in the best ways possible.
oh, I love that. Okay, see, I was going to ask too. My next question was going to be, I love how it builds naturally. I love when independent bands, it just comes from the heart and you know it's good. And it's funny that you said that too about like how the KVP, it was Cold Cave that threw me into
Right, them too.
whoa,
Yeah,
this is new. This is new stuff. And why does it took me back a bit? You know what I
yeah,
mean? But I didn't want to admit to anyone because, elder goths, they're kind of
right,
grumpy. So I was like, I'm not saying anything. But that was until my friend who's in her 50s, she's I call her my mother goth, even though it's like we're only a few years apart.
right,
I invited her to go see Cold Cave with me, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I love them." And so then and it happened to be 2018 that happened. So
right.
it's pretty interesting how we're all kind of in that same page or on that same point, in this particular phase in our lives. But my
Yeah,
question was being an older goth yourself, elder goth is what I call it. Once you pass the 40-year mark, to me, I was like, first of all, this is like the best time of my life. And I'm
yeah,
41. I just turned 41. I'm having a blast and I feel so free.
yeah.
But how does it feel knowing that, because the younger generation has it made, obviously, when it comes to music, they could record it on their phones. I've been talking to bands who've been recording music on their phones during the pandemic and creating albums. And they're pretty good. But how does it feel having elder goths like rocking out at your shows and buying your music and listening to that? And they're not too snobby, or do you get shit from elder goths? Like, why are you trying to, what are you doing? Do
You
you get
know,
any of that?
we're just one thing that when the band first started, we didn't even have a band photo. I didn't want to be in the videos. I just wanted it to be about the music, right?
Right.
And if you go back and look at our earlier videos, like I'm not in them. And we made a conscious effort with the new singles to start appearing in the videos and be more visible, because every city we would go to, someone, if not the promoter or a fan or something, would say like, you guys are so nice. And I kept thinking to myself, like, who in the fuck's coming to this? Who are the musicians coming to town where they're not nice? It's like, why
Oh,
would you want to embrace with the people who are like there to see you? It's so magical. Like, and I just, maybe some people take it for granted, but I don't. Like, I played my first show when I was 14. I
mhm.
didn't play New York until I was 45.
Ooh,
And our first show in New York was sold out. So
wow, wow.
it's not lost on me how lucky I am. Like,
It's-
do you know what I mean? Like, just
Absolutely.
it's just to
Ev-
have anyone just be like, hey, I really like your record. Like, I made lots of records before Actors, and
mm,
you wouldn't get that.
mm.
I used to not bring merch to shows because I'm like, oh, no one buys it. All right. And it went from that to like, we can't bring enough records on tour
Right.
because we run out and we're signing them for 2 hours after the shows. So that all of that excitement around the music is not lost to me. And as a music producer, the best way I feel to explain it is somehow with giving up and just making music for myself, and like uh, honest. There's an honesty to it. It sounds
Mhm.
cliche, but I think people intrinsically can hear that. And
Mhm.
that to me is the difference between like a good post-punk band or a band that's like just purely revivalist and wants to sound like The Cure or something, or like
Right.
there's this sweet spot. And that's why I really like Boot Blacks, because like they kind of straddle some different genres, but when I met them, I was like, I felt an instant kinship to them before I even
Yeah.
met them.
They have that kind of spirit. They have that, yeah, they always have that spirit. I have that too.
Yeah.
I like bragging about it because I'm like, and I've been pretty lucky with all of my favorite musicians, except for one who ghosted me, but I'm like, I ain't even mad. I'm a Pisces too. Where we get kind of flaky. He's a Pisces
Right.
and I don't want to bring
Right.
him up, but I still adore him. And I'm
Yeah.
actually glad he flaked on me like twice because
What for an interview?
for an interview, yeah. I mean, I've
Yeah.
talked to him at shows and whatnot, but still, like talking to him even in person. And I used to watch his Patreon at the beginning of the pandemic because, okay, I'll just say who it is because half my friends know. Three Teeth lead singer Lex Mincolla. I'm not
Right.
mad, bro. I'm not mad. I'm really not. My husband's like, why did he flake on you? I'm like, babe, when you're a Pisces and you're a creative, it just happens. Maybe he wasn't in the mood. Maybe, it just
Sometimes it's hard for people.
it really is, and I totally get that, suffering from, depression and all kinds of other things, but I'm also glad because he's actually a genius. Like speaking to him is like having a conversation with like a industrial Elon Musk type of person.
Right.
And I think I would have gotten
So he's
intimidated.
autistic?
No, he's just super, super intelligent. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's an alien, to be honest with you. He's some kind of alien because there's too much brain in there for, and plus he's really into the occult. He's a
Yeah.
chaos magician type of person. So I get really, first it's the music, like you were saying.
Yeah.
It's the music that really got to me. Because some of my friends are like, I don't get why you like this band. And I don't get why they don't like the band.
Right.
But they also haven't seen them perform or spoken to Lex himself. Or just even listening to him on his Patreon, it's like I could just sit there for hours, and he should teach classes, in addition to making music. But one thing I will bring up is, and again, I'm not mad about it, that he was like, "Yeah, I'm down for this interview," and then he just disappeared, and I'm like, "It's cool, it's fine. Trust me." Sometimes I'm like, "Okay, um,
Right.
I'll get him eventually." But what I love about it is that I don't know, it's just so beautiful, but what I've seen with, like, Three Teeth is their success, again, they're not dickheads, they don't take their success for granted, but they
Right.
signed they got signed onto a big label, and you know
Right.
what I haven't seen is any new Three Teeth music, um,
Right.
which really bugs me too, because 'cause I'm like, "So they were in the desert all of the pandemic, in Joshua Tree in California, writing music, cooking a lot of
Right.
food. Where was it at? I haven't seen it. So it's just one of those things
Isn't
where I
that
like
funny?
sticking to indie
It,
bands.
and it's funny, like does every band just go out to Joshua Tree to write? Like
Apparently,
I know like
I
6 artists that were out there right now. Is there like
fuck
a
that.
commune?
Do you know probably because he does a lot of naked stuff too, and I'm like, hey, but
Well, with a
it's
body
like
like
in the
that.
middle of nowhere, right? He's gorgeous, and I'm not gonna get into that. But first of all, it's fucking hot. Again, I moved from Southern California to Vancouver, Washington because I like trees and nature and natural water sources. I was just reading
Right.
this morning that we're in a drought in the PNW, and I'm like, there's water everywhere. I don't
Right.
get it. Like, so it's funny to me when people, especially musicians, are like, "Oh, we're gonna go sweat it out and go write music in Joshua Tree," and I don't get it. It's hot there. I don't see. I guess they like that. I don't know. I don't
Air
know what the appeal
conditioning.
is.
I don't
No,
know.
but you got
Yeah.
to go outside, and I understand the stars at night, but I don't know what it is. I couldn't answer that question about Joshua Tree. Like, what is the appeal? I have no clue.
Right.
But I'm of the mindset of whatever. It's just musicians are musicians, and I love them and accept them for all their weirdness because that's what makes them beautiful. That's what brings music to me is healing. I've talked about that a lot. It's a healing practice. It gives people hope. It gives people. I just had a friend who recently admitted that a punk band saved his life, years ago. He was
Right.
ready to kill himself, and a particular song, I think it was Suicidal Tendencies of all bands, saved his life. So, right?
All he wanted was a Pepsi.
All he wanted was a Pepsi. I hope I got the band right, Jackson, because I'm sorry, I've been in a whirlwind with this move. Okay, so back to you, Jason.
Okay.
Now, because I could do this all day. Let's see here. So, blah, blah, blah. Post-punk bands. My screen moved by itself. Maybe this place is haunted. Okay, so it's been mentioned who your influences are. What I like to do is capture your earliest memory of music. I love asking like, when did it all begin for you? So specifically dark wave and post punk stuff. So what was it? Who was it that sent you headfirst into singing, writing lyrics and playing? Because you said you've been into music clearly since 14, or you've been playing. So do you
Uh, I
remember when
I
you were
started
just like,
playing. I was playing live shows at 14.
damn?
I started playing guitar in grade 5.
Mhm.
I was first exposed to music, like good music, uh, from several different people in my life. By the time I was around like 8 years old, I was already like listening to Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin and like the first Devo record. Um, I remember being in the backseat of my mom's car, falling asleep, you know, with no seatbelt on, coming home from wherever, visiting with friends, and like Gary Newman cars being in the car. Like, and it's funny because I liked certain post punk bands, but like I grew up in that 80s MTV generation of videos. So like Duran Duran and David Bowie, Billy Idol, those were all a part of like my first images of bands. And then I got into like metal and thrash and then death metal, and I was playing like all these different things. And by the time I was about 19, I started to kind of just listen. I was always listening to lots of different types of music, but as a musician, I went through some different phases. But in terms of post punk, like I didn't even mean to be post punk. What you're hearing with Actors is just my songwriting sensibilities being filtered through kind of my earliest memories of like synthesizers and sounds. And so it's not like, oh, I really want to get a leather jacket on and like go and get like, I didn't even know these festivals existed. I didn't know
Right?
there was a worldwide community of like goth and post punk people. I had no idea until like 2017.
Yeah, see, same. I had no clue either, and I'm like, this is the best. This is where I was
Yeah,
like, being an older person is fucking awesome. Like, what a time we live in. What
yeah.
a time that we live in musically. Like,
Well,
because if
the internet is giving us all this connection. Like, I wouldn't
mhm,
know who the Sound are if it wasn't for the internet, and they're one of my
right.
favorites.
See,
It's just so cool. And like, we've got people in their 40s, maybe are getting to the point where their kids are grown up. Their technology is is at a level where you can do music at home. You don't have to spend a lot of money in the studio.
hmm
You have all this access to like Spotify and YouTube, and you can really dig deeper into these things that you grew up with that fascinated you. And
hmm
I think we're really fortunate that we've just tapped into this like great like fan base.
right. It's loyal, and it's supportive. That's the other thing too, is like we
Very.
want to make sure that you are out there and we're exposing you as much as possible, which is part of why I do what I do. It's amazing. You've 2018, Actors debut album came out, and you guys played all over the world. Have you played with any of your influences yet?
I don't. Well, to be fair, there is no contemporary people I would call influences. Influences
I like
maybe.
that.
We were supposed to do. Modern English asked us to do their North American tour with them right before the pandemic, and we weren't
Wow.
available to do all of it. So we were gonna do their West Coast dates with them.
Mm.
Um, that to me would have been pretty cool because watching Valley Girl as a kid and hearing Melt with You, that Melt basically Actors is like I'm trying to rewrite Melt with You but darker, like
Oh,
that encapsulates who I am as a musician, like the simplicity of those hooks, but I'm ultimately darker just by
yes.
nature.
And it's beautiful. Like, I think I was reading one of the quotes that was on your website that said that you guys are this dancey yet melancholy type of group, which is perfect because some of us honor our darkness, so and make beautiful things out of it.
Yeah.
guys.
You
It's
have to celebrate
beautiful.
it or it'll swallow you, you know?
Yep, or you will die. Yeah, exactly. And then I've seen a lot of that happen too, which really breaks my heart. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of great things come out of it, which will put me into the pandemic. I mean, you guys have a huge fan base, and it didn't seem like that faltered any when the pandemic hit. You guys had to cancel shows on the fly, like so many other bands, like Three Teeth. I was supposed to celebrate my 40th, kick off my 40th birthday celebration at a Three Teeth show. And the day before the show was supposed to happen, Disney shut down. And that's when I knew the world was going to, shut down altogether. And it
Yeah.
was the day before I was supposed to see my beloved Three Teeth, and I collapsed on the stairs. I was sad, and yeah, we got over it. Um, but then again, I've had so many great things happen during the pandemic. You guys came out with a bunch of singles that I was just upstairs a little while ago. So anytime someone says love you in the house, now I have to sing love you more.
I like that.
It's just, and they're like, really? I'm like, you guys, guess who I'm talking to today? And they're like, we're not impressed by you, mom. So go downstairs. Um, but it's really interesting. You guys had to start cutting stuff off on the fly. How was that initial impact for you? Like, did it devastate you? How did it feel? And then when did you decide, fuck it, we're just going to keep going?
Yeah, it was upsetting, but you have to think like in the 18 months leading up to that, we had played 150 shows. Um, so physically, that was exhausting.
Yeah.
Like I drive all the time. Like I'm the only driver, so I drive. We show up to the show, sound check, we play. I make sure that I'm there with whoever wants to hang out afterwards. We sign records. We go to sleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning. We get up and we drive again. And I did that all over the world. I did that in the UK, in Germany, Portugal, Spain, Czech Republic, Poland, all through the US, Canada. It's like, it was nuts. And so I was kind of like, oh, this pandemic, I could get into this. Like, I need a rest,
Yeah,
right?
I could sleep a little bit. Okay, so I'm not gonna bitch about my trips up and down the 5 freeway anymore. And
Well, 15 hours is a long drive.
15 hours each way. Like, what was the longest stretch that you ever driven that
Um,
you could think of?
in Canada, you can drive 12 to 14 hours between shows.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
yeah, my husband was looking at it. He's like, 12 hours in the U.S. is the maximum for truck drivers. And so I'm like, shit. Like the
Yeah.
one time, we do those in one day. We don't stop to spend the night or anything like that. We just go. But one of the trips with the moving truck took 15-hour trip, went to 20 and a half. And but you know what? It's a beautiful drive. So, and I was thinking too, like bands do this shit all the time. So what am I complaining about? Actually, I
Right.
didn't complain a lot. It gave me a lot of time to read books and listen to good music. I don't know if I recorded the part where I said actors as part of my post punk north playlist. Yes, it's called post punk north. And for some reason, you guys are on there at least 3 or 4 times. Maybe I added a double added, triple added into my playlist, but you're on constantly. Maybe it's
That's
because I
good.
favorited so many. But yeah,
Right.
ultimate PNW music right here. And yeah, it's driving music, like you were saying. So it's pretty funny that you said that because you guys got us through the driving.
That's
Okay, so
great.
your music videos. I want to talk about your music videos. Oh my God. So again, I love watching music videos because we can't don't get that on MTV anymore for like
Right.
30 years. So I'll start with like suicide. It started like a dark love admission. That's what the lyrics sounded like to me, like a lot, like "Hey, I love you." Then I saw the music video, and I'm very, very outspoken about the harm that religion causes, and especially with personal experiences. So I've been curious to ask about what the origins of the visuals in the video came from. What influenced those?
Well, the director Wayne Morehart, he just kind of
Mm,
gets he gets us, and I have a cynical sense of humor, and I'm not one for organized religion, to put it lightly. Um,
yeah, right.
and
You're like, don't be polite on my show. It's
so
okay.
so when he told me about that, like at first it was just like, oh, it's going to be an exorcism and stuff, and I thought, oh, I can wear a priest collar. I've always wanted to wear one, and so we got to dress up and do a little bit of that and play around with those images, and then that kind of stock footage of the evangelical type. Um, it actually, I had some comments from some fans that were like, yeah, it was really triggering, and the title of the song is pretty heavy. But once I kind of described where I was coming from with it, which is more like the visuals. It's just being tongue in cheek, you know.
Yeah.
It's just poking a little bit of fun and entertaining, and really the song is about, yeah, it's about loving someone. Oh, like it's the worst thing you could do for yourself, you know.
We can get started on that
Right?
too if you want to. But yeah, I was
It's something
like,
we can all relate to.
absolutely, it really is. Okay, so then we have to dance. We don't have to dance. Yeah, try not dancing to that song. I mean, it's
Right.
impossible. The music video is about all of us and the shit that we put on display, yet we are often dying inside. Beautifully captured video. Actually, I saw it. It was a work of poetry. I've read so many poems about how we social media is great for a lot of things, as long as you're using it for the intended purposes. And I think I do. Like my husband was like, I hate it. It's this and this that. But we've met some incredible friends and family, chosen family through social media, and it's afforded
Sure.
me a lot of opportunities. But yeah, I get it at times where I feel the pressure of, okay, well, I have to post this or I have to post that. And again, it's totally relatable. So I just wanted to give you guys kudos on how beautiful that was captured. It's like you were putting on display, you were displaying, the meaning of having to keep up with society and looking good, even though we are literally dying inside. It's a lot of work.
Mhm.
So that was great. So then, strangers again, because here's the horror in me. I was like, oh, this is so near dark and Mad Max influence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loved it because nobody gives near dark a lot of love in the horror community as much as I wish
Yeah.
they would.
Yeah.
Um, and so, but love you more. I guess that's my favorite song at the moment. That had me just dead because there were zombies. So for
Yeah.
you guys watching this, it follows a zombie ghoul and her inability to let go of her. Was that her arm, or was that
Yeah.
someone else's
Yeah.
arm?
That's her arm, and then she tapes it on.
Yeah, she's like, it was beautiful. Jason, you and your bandmates are dead on stage, which is awesome. I've never seen that before. And let me mention that the video was released in October of 2020.
Yeah.
So with all the horror themed stuff, it's kind of like there's spooky stuff. You've had strangers and even we don't have to dance. It's spooky shit. So what is your perspective on why like dark wave and post punk and horror often go hand in hand? Because it happens a lot, and I love it. I can't get enough of it. So
Well,
what do you think?
I have total theories on this stuff, and I think the revival of post punk and that, and like I said, like that celebrating the darkness, it's a reaction to the current times we live in.
Mm,
And when I was growing up, and I think when a lot of this music was first happening, we were living in a world that was afraid of, the Cold War, nuclear war. Um, and like with movies like Threads or The Day After, like seeing those as a kid, like they scarred me, like probably to this day, like they
mhm.
were terrifying movies. And just whatever political or economic unrest, and I think especially over the last few years, what was happening in the United States and now a pandemic, and it's like we have to escape into this darkness and somehow make peace with it on some level. And maybe we're right around the corner from a disco revival where everyone's going to be partying like Studio 54 again. I don't know. But for me, I've always whether it's listening to Massive Attack or listening to um, Obituary or Nick Cave, like these are, I've always just related to those type of things. And I think I like videos that are interesting and fun or tongue in cheek. And I, I think those images that we've used are they just suit kind of the tone of the music.
Totally, totally. It's funny that you said, with because I sometimes forget you're in Canada. And I'm having a lot of trouble. Everyone's like, "Where'd you move to?" I'm like, "Vancouver." I guess I have to say Vancouver, Washington, because
Yeah,
everyone thinks I moved to Canada, and I'm like, "Trust me, I've tried. I can't do it yet."
yeah.
My Canadian friends during all of our bullshit last year, especially here in the US, um, I saw a meme. I think I reposted. It said that Canada feels. This is how Canada feels right now. We must be the. They must feel like the people living on top of the meth lab, the apartment under the meth lab right
Yeah.
now. And then I asked my Canadian friends, they're like, accurate.
Well, the thing
I'm like,
is,
can I come live with you guys, please?
I wasn't I everyone that I know is liberal,
Mine
and
too, yeah.
and very forward thinking, and they were just as much in horror of what was happening, and so it's like, I don't know,
See
it's
where
just
I'm
scary.
saying music heals? Yeah, it's horrifying, but music got us through a lot of that stuff. Like,
Oh, for
and
sure.
and we're not over it yet. So let me just make sure that I don't keep seeing that. Oh, we're okay. We're not okay. The U.S. is
Yeah,
not okay. One man can't change that because the evil is still there. It's just human beings suck.
yeah,
Um, you know what I mean? Human beings just we don't deserve our planet. That's for sure. And sometimes I don't think we deserve each other, but here we are. Some of them embrace the good parts.
yeah.
Now,
And here we are on
you're
Zoom.
right, like fuck my life right now. I mean,
Technology.
again, the things that I've been afforded. I never wanted to do like video interviews, and I freak out before every single one of them. So it's just really funny how it just works out. And I never intended to do this, but the pandemic forced me to. And
Yeah, it's
like
great.
you were saying, I had a great time during the pandemic. I gained like 20 something pounds. I
Same.
smoked way more weed. And I got caught up on movies, and it was actually a good. We had my family and I had a good time with the pandemic, but now it's like, oh shit, we got to start working out again. I don't know, how is it up there for you guys? I haven't been keeping up the last like 2 months on everywhere else in the world. How are you guys doing?
Seems okay. The restaurants just opened back up.
Okay,
Um, People are optimistic. People are getting their shots, and they're feels like they're expediting the second round of shots sooner than
good.
anticipated. So I don't
That's
know.
good to
It,
hear.
it, it feels very hopeful. So
It's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting how this is working. Now, let's talk about the fact that you've had 18 months of rest, and according to what
rest.
I am seeing, well, kind of. You didn't have to go on you didn't have to play
There was
150 shows.
there was no
But
traveling, but I worked straight through it on the Actors record, the Leathers record. I'm working with local artist Louise Burns. I'm working with a band called Frankie. I'm working with I'm mastering a few albums. I'm mastering another album later today. So my life was just like the first month or so of the pandemic. People seem to be like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. And then all of a sudden,
right.
boom! It was like everyone wants to make music. So I think we're going to have lots of great music coming out for the next little while.
Which I love because again, major bands like Three Teeth, who again to me is always going to be this indie band that just signed their Undead Souls over to this major label,
Right.
but it's the indie bands that are ones putting out the music, and I'm all for it. Um, it's really fun. And then I ended up working with a surf music label, like collabing with them. So it's really funny how even my music has the love of it has expanded. But you're saying, I'm so busy. So I'm looking at your band or your link tree. You guys have tour dates back to back starting in September. Fuck.
Yeah.
So do you have
I think
anything
we
in the
have about
summer yet?
I think we have about 3 months of touring like straight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just, oh, there's San Diego is the first one that I noticed, which I don't know if I'm holding out for Portland or Seattle. I'm hoping you guys
Those are
play here.
those are coming.
Um, Oh, I love
Yeah.
hearing that because my husband's like, I'm
We're
not going to LA for every fucking show, Michelle.
we're going to be at the Starlight Theater in Portland.
Tell me the date afterwards so I can just make sure I put it aside.
Sure. Sure.
Because I have to be in Southern California a lot during the fall. Really good Halloween stuff down there, so I can't
Right.
help it. But yeah, and so I was like, no, with the actors, I feel like I have to see you guys in the Pacific Northwest. With the environment, the rain, the trees, it would be perfect. But yeah, you guys are announcing tour dates back to back to back, and each time I see you guys pop up on my Instagram, I'm like, look at that, they're already at it. Um, so that's awesome. Who do you handle all the tour dates too? Like, I feel like
I
you do a
did
lot of the management.
I did up until the pandemic, and now we work with a booking agent who's based out of France. My friend
Nice,
Xavier, yeah,
nice.
he's got a booking agency called Persona Grata.
Okay, so let me write
Yeah,
that in here.
yeah, he just broke
Uh,
off and started his own company, so he's rad. So he's been all through the pandemic,
yes.
like restructuring the tour and working so hard for us, and I couldn't have done it without him.
Are you excited about getting back on stage?
Beyond excited.
Yes.
Like
Nothing like it.
we're just like 2 weeks ago it was like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna happen, and then last week all of a sudden like everyone's announcing, all the promoters are announcing. So I have a sneaking suspicion it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay. Now, is there any particular, you've played all over the world. Do you have a favorite or one in particular that you cannot wait to get into? Or you're just
like
like, oh my God. I
like
mean, there's no
city.
CBGB, city or just a particular venue that you're excited to be in.
Oh man, like we didn't have one bad show. Like
Wow.
I think we
That's
had like,
good.
for some reason in Pittsburgh we had two like slower shows in a row, but outside, and it was like Tuesday night, but like we've been really fortunate. Like I've been in bands where like every other show you're like, oh, that wasn't that good. Like everywhere we go, we become friends with the promoters, and there's fans in those cities, and like they're all just great. Like I'm not just saying that. It's just like we've just been really fortunate that I think we're in just the right mindset to embrace the positivity of each
Mhm.
situation, and we just get on stage and we're all on the same page, you know?
Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful music. I can't wait to see you guys live. And I'll be sweating. I'm already trying to
That's
like
good.
picture what I'm gonna wear. Am I gonna wear my wigs? Am I gonna go natural? We'll see. I've been
I've
partying
I
or
went
been to a show with a
natural.
wig. Oh, so you
Yeah.
went natural. I like it. I like it.
Oh,
I
thanks.
love the natural silver gray. I've been telling my husband has a huge crush on Anderson Cooper. So in 2019, he put yeah, he went platinum, and I'm like, if you would have given yourself 2 3 years, it would have just happened naturally. And
Right.
I'm waiting for him. He's growing it out, but I want him on your level because I see it.
I
I'm
had
like, it's so cute. I love
I
it.
didn't know my hair was this gray. I
It's
just like stopped.
gorgeous.
Thank you. I stopped dyeing it, and I was like, "Holy shit! Look how gray I am. That's nuts."
Leave it if you can. It looks great. It's
I'm
like this whole new thing. Like, leave it.
well. I when I look back at the pictures of the dyed hair, I'm just like, oh, that doesn't look as good. I like this better. So
It's just natural. Like natural. Same with me. I feel you. I was coloring my hair for about a year and then I shaved it off. Depression, man. It's awesome. You shave your hair off and then
yeah,
let it grow back. And now I have again, it's bigger than this. But I have like 6 gray hairs and I'm 41. I don't think it's happening anytime soon, or else I'd be
wow.
rocking it too. I wish. People pay for your color. They pay for it. Um, so let's see here. You didn't have any bad shows. Do you have a message you want to share with fans, those who are watching, about what the actor? Obviously, you guys are planning shows. I don't. When did I write that question? Um, Scratch it. I actually had you guys on my radar for about 3 months. And it's funny how I was like, I'm gonna try to nail them. I put it in one of my updates, like, oh, here's an update with this band, this band, this band. This is what, oh, this album came out, and I think it was Vision Video's album that came out in early April. And then I put next on my radar because honestly, Jason, you're my last screen interview for a while. I'm gonna actually start
Okay.
writing,
Yeah.
doing what I said I was gonna do. And I said, watch, Michelle Halloween is gonna get the actors because I was already bragging and talking about you guys
Yeah.
well before I intended. And here you are so super fucking nice just to come on there. I've had
Oh, it's
really
my
good luck
pleasure.
with a lot of you guys, and I really appreciate it. But if you have a message for your fans, here you go. Go ahead and shout them out, and I will tag as many people as I can.
Message to our fans. Well, first of all the all the times people share on their Instagram stories and tag us, every time someone puts us on their playlist and tags us on the playlist, anytime people share with us online, like I've seen the growth of the band just grow exponentially because of the every person, like the people who just get excited about the music. And for me, as the songwriter, as the creator of the band, it's like that's why I do it. Like I don't never want to be a rock star. Like it's about connecting with people. And you said music heals, and music heals me, and it's very reciprocal, and there's no ego involved. It's just about like, hey, like we're sharing in these experiences, and it becomes cathartic, and these friendships build. And it's like I always say, it's like baby steps, and it's like it just grows and grows and grows. And I want it to get as big as possible, because I want to be able to continue to do this for the next however many years, where we can be touring and connecting with people, and you know, having that human experience together. So thank you for all the people who are doing this, and let's keep doing it together.
And you heard that, Derek Shadowplay, who I'm actually I can't wait to give you a big old hug, homie. I don't know if you're familiar with DJ Shadowplay PDX. He is,
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, so we were talking, I was on one of his lives. He's like, I fucking love these guys. I'm like, me too. Like, it's just
Yeah,
funny. It's, this one's for you,
that
homie. I
that
can't wait to squish you.
that's our man in Portland. That's
Yeah.
that's that's our hookup.
Oh, I love him so much. And that's what I love
Yeah.
about him is like we all know him, but we don't want to talk about all of our little hookups with him. But he's
When I
great.
first
He's
when I first met him, I thought he didn't like me. I was like, oh, this guy must not like our band. I don't
what?
know why. He was friendly enough like online, but when I saw him in person, I was like, oh, I think this guy maybe doesn't really like the band. And I thought maybe he's a little bit shy.
No,
He's
that's
rad.
funny. He's
Yeah,
so
he's rad.
fucking rad.
Yeah,
He's one of the happiest, like he's one of the reasons why I was like, we're gonna be okay, isolated
yeah.
in the PNW because of him and Brittany. And but yeah, Derek, I love you, homie. So I couldn't wait to tell him, guess what, who I talked to.
Great.
He's already on it because he's been playing you guys a lot at Coffin Club night. So
Absolutely.
fucking awesome, and it just feels good to just have that connection with other fans. I love that. So Jason, thank you so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with me.
My pleasure.
um I can't wait to see you. I'm still like I said, I feel like I'll see you a few times this year, more than just Portland. I might see you in San Diego. I might see
Yeah.
you in some other part of the country in the winter. We'll see.